Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to talk about the collection range. Now, you guys know I love talking about Doctor Who, the collection. It is like the ultimate Doctor Who for me. I love the classic series. And my question is, which Doctor Who set that we haven't gotten yet or hasn't been announced yet are you the most excited about, most looking forward to? What's the one that just thinking about it makes you just get amped up? For me, I'm going to be honest, immediately, my first thought is a Troughton set. It doesn't matter which one, a Troughton set. I want a Troughton set. I know we're not going to get one anytime soon. I know they probably want to wait until they can complete them a little more with animation. And I totally get that. I totally respect that. I understand why we haven't gotten a Troughton set. It's crazy to think that we may complete the Tom sets before we get a Troughton set. We may have all of Tom Baker's before we get any Troughtons. But I am looking forward to a Troughton set. It doesn't matter which one to me. I am fine with getting any of them. I mean, 4 does need a little more done with it. I do think 5 or 6 would make more sense, especially since 4 is mostly animations. I think 5 and 6. I'd rather get one that's mostly intact. And, of course, Season 6 is mostly intact. And Season 5 is over half intact with surviving episodes. And even more than that with animations. Really, 5 and 6 only needing one story animated officially to complete that season. Of course, Season 6 being the Space Pirates, which you figure between Wheel in Space, Season 5, of course, needing Wheel in Space officially anyway. You figure between the two, they would animate Wheel in Space first, being a more popular story. Even if it is considered the weakest of the Cybermen stories, it's a Cyberman story. It's a companion introduction story, and it ends what is often cited as Troughton's best season. You figure that one would be more likely than Space Pirates, which does not have a very good reputation, is known to have been a 4-parter stretched out into 6 parts. The surviving episode is a bit lackluster, and then the Telesnap Recon, due to the lack of telesnaps, is it's progressively harder and harder to get through. It is a very rough watch. The novelization is great, though. The Space Pirates, on a purely story level, isn't very enjoyable. I enjoyed the novelization. I think if this story was intact, it would have a better reputation. I don't think it would be anything S tier, but I think it would have a better reputation than what it has. Just like Wheel in Space, I feel like it's underappreciated since it's mostly missing. This occurs to me having the unofficial animation from Tardis Time Girl, with, of course, Iz Skinner and Steve Skinner made. And it is a really good animation. It really made me appreciate the story more than just the Telesnap Recon with the surviving episodes did, even though I felt it was underrated even then. But having their animation, I feel like it helps this story a lot. Being able to see it in a better visual medium, I think makes Wheel in Space much easier to appreciate and enjoy. So I really feel like if more of Wheel in Space was found or had originally survived, I think while it might not be considered the best Cyberman story of the 60s, I do think it would have a higher opinion. I think it would have a better reputation than it does. So I would be fine with either of these seasons coming out first, 5 or 6. I like both. I'd be fine either way. But I would like to get a Troughton on the shelf. And to get some behind-the-scenes stuff for it, some behind the sofa, a documentary on Troughton, a documentary on Victoria, and on Deborah. So that would be really enjoyable for me. So that's what I really want right off the top of my head is another Troughton season. Now, looking at the remaining color seasons, which is, it's only 3, isn't it? I was about to say 4. But now that Season 13 has been announced, and I don't know why I'm waving my hand like it's on the shelf, but now that it's been announced, we really only have 3 color seasons left. It's amazing how far we have come in this range since it started 7 years ago. I'd say between the 3 we have left, which is, of course, Season 11, which is John Pertwee's final season, Season 16, which is one of Tom's middle seasons, and Season 21, which is Davison's final season. I'd say between those 3, the one I'd be most excited for is probably Season 16, which obviously we're not going to get anytime soon. They're not going to give us 2 Toms in a row, which they shouldn't. They should mix it up. But I am looking forward to Season 16. One, I liked Season 16. I'm a big Tom Baker fan. I like Romana 1. Matter of fact, I prefer Romana 1 over Romana 2. Even though I like both. Mary's just really good in the role. Lala is too. I like the stories. I think you have two really good stories in Rebus Operation and Pirate Planet. They're easily my two favorites of the season. Stones of Blood is good. Androids of Tara, I flip-flop on depending on my recent watch through, but I never dislike it. The Armageddon Factor is a little underwhelming, but I still find it enjoyable. It definitely has its flaws, but I still think it's a fun story. I still call it a nice C-tier story. Really, the only fly in the ointment for me is, of course, Power of Kroll, which you guys know about at this point. It's not exactly... no one's watching this video having a heart attack because I mentioned not liking Power of Kroll. It's not shocking anyone here. And, of course, seeing what they're going to do with this season, I really want to know what's going to get some updated effects here. Because there's right answers, then there's right answers, and then there's wrong answers. You look at something like a Rebus Operation. Does not need any updated effects. Androids of Terra really doesn't. There's a couple things you can do with it. Doesn't really need them, though. And then you have... I can understand people's immediate thoughts going straight to Kroll. I don't want that because I feel like it's a waste of something getting updated effects. I'm not saying it doesn't need them. It needs them. I'm simply saying that you're going to need an Avengers in-game budget to make it look good. I'd rather that money be spent somewhere else instead of spending all that money trying to make the Power of Kroll look good. You're going to need a heck of a budget to pull that off. This Season 16 box set's going to come out and it'll be $300. We have to do updated effects for Kroll. It'll be £299. Me, on the other hand, I would love to see Pirate Planet get them. I think Pirate Planet is the best story of the season. If it's not S tier, it's a solid A tier story. It's not necessarily essential Doctor Who, but I just feel like this era of Doctor Who and Douglas Adams merged so well. The Fourth Doctor and Douglas Adams merged so well. I think they just fit together like pieces of a puzzle. And if there's anyone that gets the Fourth Doctor anywhere nearly as close as Tom Baker, it's Douglas Adams. I just feel like the only thing Pirate Planet needs is some updated effects. I've talked about this many times. So the happy middle ground for me was if multiple stories got updated effects. Like you gave them to Kroll and Pirate Planet, especially being the final Tom set. I think for the final Tom set, because you know it's going to sell. It's a Tom set. It's Tom Baker. It's going to sell. I think you pull out all the stops. I think you go all out on it. I'm not saying you do updated effects for every episode or every story like you did with Season 25, because one, there's more stories. Two, again, some of them don't need it. I don't think Androids of Terra really needs it. Rebus Operation definitely doesn't need it. But I feel like this is an opportunity to do updated effects for multiple stories. And the two I would pick would be Kroll, to appease everybody else, and then Pirate Planet to appease me. If I could only pick one of those, I would pick Pirate Planet because I'd much rather appease me. And to be fair, I'm sure there's some of you that agree that you'd rather see something like Pirate Planet or Armageddon Factor or Stones of Blood get them over Kroll. I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way. Stones of Blood is another one you could do some updated effects for. It's not in need of them. The original effects for Stones of Blood are fine. They're good. They're enjoyable. The story is not in need of updated effects the way Pirate Planet and Kroll are, because they need them. Pirate Planet's still a great story, but its effects are very naff. It needs updated effects. Kroll is not a very good story, but its effects are also naff. Those two stories need them. Stones of Blood does not need them, but there are some things you could do there. The teleport effect when they're traveling from the regular dimension to the hyper dimension, the little purple swirl, you could update that. The ship when it's in hyperspace, you could update that. There's some other little tweaks in there you could do. It doesn't need them, but you could do. Same thing with the Armageddon Factor. I don't think the Armageddon Factor just essentially needs updated effects, but there are certainly opportunities there. A lot of the space model shots, the timer counting down you can make look better. The laser blast when they're firing, you could do some updated effects on. Matter of fact, I think Cunning Monkey has done updated effects for that story, and those effects look really good. There is definitely opportunities in the Armageddon Factor to make those effects look better. And if there was any way they could do 3 stories, especially with the Armageddon Factor being the season finale, and it's not just the season finale of the season, as in just a typical classic Doctor Who season. This is, of course, one of those rare times in classic Doctor Who where you had an overriding seasonal arc. You have the final story being the main seasonal arc tying up to. Everything's resolving in Armageddon Factor that we've been kind of keeping up with throughout the whole season. I feel like it needs that extra push. So if there was any way in the budget to do it, again, being Tom's final season, wanting to end his run, his era, with a bang, 3 stories getting updated effects. That's half of them. And doing Pirate Planet, Power of Kroll, and the Armageddon Factor, that would be a treat. That would be a treat for me. I would love to see that. That would be... I think at least 2 stories should get it. I don't know if that's in their budget or not, especially considering how much of that budget would have to go to updating effects for Power of Kroll. They're probably like, Prowl, if we do it your way and do 3 stories, we'll have to charge $400 for that box set. And I'd be like, can't you just do different ones? Do a box set with Kroll, a box set with Pirate Planet, and a box set with Armageddon Factor. I'm buying the Pirate Planet one. I'm so ridiculous. But I have fun doing it. So that's the one I'm most looking forward to. I am looking forward to 11 and 21 as well, just because I'm curious to see what they're going to do with them. I would like to see a video about Richard Franklin for season 11. That would be really nice. In memorandum, since of course we just lost him a couple years ago. Of course, again, I want to see what they're going to do with the updated effects. I figured Invasion of the Dinosaurs. And Invasion of the Dinosaurs does probably need them the most of the season. But I would like to see Planet of Spiders get them. Again, being the final John and it being his final season, maybe you want to give it a little extra love there if the budget allows and update effects for 2 stories. Although they're having to spend some of that budget getting episode 1 of Dinos looking properly in color, which is where the money should go. That should be the #1 priority, is getting episode 1 of Dinos looking good. But if there's enough money left over, updated effects for Dino, updated effects for Planet of the Spiders. Although, to be fair, most of the budget probably would go to the updated effects for Dinos, which between the 2, I think, is the right choice. I just wish Planet of Spiders would get some updated effects. And then season 21, I'm looking forward to as well. It'll finish off the 80s. We'll have a nice run of episodes all the way from, season 17 on at that point. If we get 21 next, like a lot of us theorize we will, we'll have from season 17 all the way through 26. A long run on the shelf. That'll be neat. Hopefully some updated effects for Resurrection of the Daleks. You guys know how much Prowley wants that. If they do Warriors of the Deep and do not do Resurrection of the Daleks, will there be a video about that? I'm not saying Warriors of the Deep doesn't need them. And if they could do updated effects for 2 stories, Resurrection of the Daleks or the Warriors of the Deep are the 2 I'd pick. Warriors of the Deep needs updated effects, but Resurrection of the Daleks needs them more. Plus, Resurrection of the Daleks is actually a good story. It's a good story that just needs the updated effects. That way the execution of the story lives up to the actual story. Much like they did with Day of the Daleks. It needs them. So I'm really looking forward to that, because I made a promise that I'm not going to rewatch Resurrection of the Daleks or Warriors of the Deep until that box set comes out. And I've been waiting ever since. I think the only time I've seen parts of those episodes is when Jess reviewed them on Seska Says, so I got to catch like the Cliff Notes version of it during her reactions. And then, it'd be nice to see if they're going to do anything with anything else, like any tweaks with Planet of Fire, because Lord knows that updated effects version on the DVD is dreadful. Dreadful. Updated effects for the Twin Dilemma. To be fair, I don't think the Twin Dilemma's complete garbage like some people do. It's not good by any stretch of the imagination. It's got a couple neat things it does, but it has a lot of bad things it does. But I don't think it's the dumpster fire some people think it is. It's not even my least favorite classic Who story. And I rank it miles above some of the modern Who stories. But it'd be interesting to see some updated effects for it. But mostly, as long as Resurrection of the Daleks gets them, I'll be happy. So I guess the order I'm really interested on those for the color seasons would be 16 the most, then 21, then 11. Because I am kind of ready to get the 80s sets finished. That would be cool. And then I want to get a Troughton set. It doesn't matter which one to me, especially 5 or 6. I'd probably rather get 5 or 6, just because they're more intact. But I want to have Patrick Troughton on my shelf here. That way it doesn't just go from first Doctor to the third Doctor. So that's kind of what I'm excited about in the collection range. I want to know what season you're excited about that hasn't come out yet. What's really got you fired up? What are you waiting on? Comment down below and let's talk about it. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. There is a link to that down in the description as well. I have a P.O. box down there if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. Love getting fan mail. A link to the Amazon wish list is down there. I've updated that recently. Got some non-Doctor Who stuff on there. I put The Magician on there, which is a Bill Bixby TV series I like. I've also got a couple Legend of Zelda books I would love to have on there if you're a Legend of Zelda fan. I also have a link to my Amazon UK wish list down there as well. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Finn Perkins, Colin Coney, Sam Venning, and Unknown289. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. Most importantly, thank you for watching.